Hello, everybody! It's your boy, Sam again, aka The Train Motherfucking Main. My trees and glees and bees and D's. Boo! Oh! Train Main is back, motherfuckers! The Train Main! The Train Main! I am the train! Motherfucking me! Once again, if you don't like my intro, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm glad that you're here. Hello, Zero Puppy. Hello. So it's been several months since the last layout update. I think it was in like early September. It is now December 22nd, so just a few days before Christmas. In the past, whatever 3 months, let's call it, we have made more progress on the layout than any other period of time since we started it, which will be a year ago come February. So, I mean, I built my largest, most detailed, and most spectacular layout of the, I think this is the 5th on the channel, but my 6th overall. We've come that far in a very, very relatively short amount of time. I don't really know how to describe the progress that we've made. Like I said, over such a short amount of time, less than a year got us from absolutely no layout here to this layout. You can go back and watch all 5 of the previous layout builds over several years, and you can just see how the skills have improved. Things get easier and you get better at them and are able to work faster over time without sacrificing the quality, because the more times you do something, the easier it becomes, the better you become at it, which translates to working faster and without sacrificing the quality. I didn't want to work fast on this layout because I really wanted to enjoy building it. I enjoy building and scenicking and detailing and kits just as much as I do running trains. But like I said, if I really wanted to just work slow as molasses and take my time, I did. But getting things done is just, it's experience now. So I'm not trial and error and learning things. So we kind of just took off, and that's where we find ourselves right now. So I guess, as always, let's just start down at this far corner of the layout, the industrial park. There's a lot more going on down here than the last time we showcased this section. We've got a lot of scenery done, a lot of buildings in place. We started doing some pavement, got some backdrop stuff going on, some more building kits that are on the table. So down over here, we have the nice little warehouse. Not sure what it's going to take, box cars or gondolas, a little bit of both. Started doing the pavement and asphalt parking lot down in here. Eventually we'll kind of tie in where the industrial park road lead crosses the main line. Down here, like I was saying, I'm not going to use this road. This is just to kind of mock up how wide I want the road to be and the direction and where it'll start to pull off. I just kind of use this as a gauge of how wide the road should be because it is to scale. But it, you know, it's going to kind of bleed into parking lots and abandoned areas and all kinds of stuff. So it's just like a gauge tool for now. But got some of these old Concore, I believe they're from the 80s, Cleveland wrecking semi-trucks. I just always type in, you know, different things on eBay. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, so I type N-scale Cleveland here and there. And I found these, and they're super duper cool. So I'm trying to find some more. They're pricey when they pop up, though, new in the package. So again, you've seen we've done some detailing and weathering on the sidings that are going to the textile mill. So a lot of this, what you're seeing on this side, you can tell what's permanent and what's not. Pretty much everything on this half of the table is permanent and, you know, in progress. Everything kind of behind here is all just mocked up for right now. Same thing over here with the cold storage. We've got a lot of ballast done, a lot of scenery. So this whole front section's really come together, and I tied it in with this abandoned factory, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure what the building was or is. I haven't decided that yet, but we have an old spur that went to this, let's just call it a factory. It's now used for car storage. I've got a string of 6 box cars on there. We've got some fencing, all rusted up, weeds growing through, the fence is busted. All kinds of little details. The building's really weathered. You got weeds growing in the parking lot. You've got weeds and rust growing on top of it. My friend Brandon sent me Beavis and Butthead, and they're on the roof of this abandoned building smoking a doobie. You could see that doobies, it's legal now, so. They're up there. I put a little bit of cotton fluff, so that is Beavis and Butthead smoking a doobie on top of the building. Over here we've got some more rusted and abandoned fence. You know, the fence is kind of broken into, and there's bushes, and I really am working on weathering up the building, but really happy with how it came out. This spur was put in right when I first started this section of the layout. I started all this track work and stuff first with the main line, and my plan was to do a scrap yard. And then I have this building for a long time, didn't know where it fit. I set it there a couple weeks ago just to see if it would fit, because to the eye it did, and it did. So I'm like, let's make it an abandoned scene. So car storage, just another switching opportunity or a place to keep some freight cars on the layout that aren't in the yard or somewhere else. And I'm very happy with how it's coming out. I'm still going to do some more weathering and try to make it look as bodacious as possible, but for now I'm happy with it. And then the back side of this, I really want to do like a, not like a refinery, but like a oil or gas or propane or something distribution warehouse, or distribution center, I guess I should say. I've got a ton of buildings and kits and things I've put together. I just kind of have it all set back there because I think I kind of want to have it filled out in this area. I'm just not sure where I'm going to cut in a spur off this branch line or how to get it there. I'm not 100% sure how it's going to fit, but it's there. I haven't painted any of this ground over here because I don't have any of this mocked up permanently. Like I said, just basically from kind of this line forward is where things will be. These buildings will be where they are. But yeah, pretty much everything from here back is mocked up. So when I have extra paint that's brown or rust, I just kind of wipe my brushes off here just to not waste paint, I guess. But then I don't know if I ever pointed this out, but I always keep nails and screws and fasteners just in a little square on the layout. So when I need them to hold things down, I just grab them off the layout, and I'll move this around as I work on things. But then we have several building kits. You've seen this before. It's been on several layouts. This is newer. And you know, this guy was on the old layout. This guy is newer. And I want to have the backdrop. You'll see what I'm kind of trying to do with, these are Walther's building kits or DPM kits, I'm not sure. And instead of building the buildings, I'm putting them as like a fascia, a rear fascia. I've got another little one right here too. That's more 3D. But obviously it's supposed to be a point-to-point layout. So the industrial park is the eastern end of the entire layout. Goes over, you know, through the yard to the, I'll get over to that in a bit, but then over here through the mine and then to the lumber mill. And in theory, after the lumber mill, this passing siding is the interchange. This is the Allegheny Railroad, Allegheny something Railroad. I haven't decided the name yet, but Allegheny and Southern, maybe Allegheny and Western. And the track that the Consist is on right now is actually the interchange with probably Norfolk or CSX, and right where it actually is heading to right now. So this would be, this tunnel is the western terminus. So it's a point-to-point railroad, so they do interchange and all that here. Class 1 picks it up and goes bye-bye. But so western end of the layout, they service the lumber mill, they service the mine. They've got their big yard in the town of Albertville, I believe is what I'm going to call it. I'm actually about to get a bunch of little plaques that say like what the scenes names are, like Archer Lumber, the Albertville Yard, the Albertville Industrial Park, whatever I'm going to name them. I'm doing that here soon, so you'll actually have real names and it'll kind of detail the scenes. But so yeah, it comes through. They have their yard, diesel shops and repair shops. You know, they do car repair and locomotive repairs for other railroads. And then their eastern terminus where the trackage actually ends. You know, so this would have went through further somewhere back in the day, but the track actually ends here. So, you know, let's just pretend once it hits that backdrop, there is no more railroad. This is as far east as it goes. It's cut off, no more rail. That's the end of it. So it is a true point-to-point in my mind. Interchange over there, they can only run east. Once they get as far east as here, stop trackage, no more railroad. They can only run back west for their interchange. So with these backdrops, I don't want it to, just like on my other layout, I'm gonna have the backdrop go across the back of that too. I have the backdrop pieces cut down here. I just have to install them, but obviously it is a loop. But you can see right now, you can't see the train running back there. And here it comes. So it's giving the simulation that it's actually a point to point, but I can do continuous running. I've done that on pretty much all my big layouts. And I think it's really gonna help the depth of field in the scene. So using several of these buildings and combinations of the backdrops and kits, like I said, nothing is permanent back here. I'm gonna move it all around. I have some more Pico switches coming, and then I'll start mocking up track. I have a few more backdrops and kits on the way too, including this scene, and got to put in the actual backdrop over here to kind of tie it all together. So I have all the materials and stuff on the way that I think I'll need. Maybe a little more, another kit or two, and maybe another piece of backdrop or two. Just depends how far I can get it to here before the real backdrop comes in. But once we get to that point, I can really start to mock all this up. I have another switch cut in here off the branch line that can kind of take me to down there. But obviously I want to do something right in here, and I'll have to just play it as it lies once I start working on it. So we'll see what happens over there. Moving over to the rail yard and car repair and diesel shops. Lots of cool stuff has happened over here as well. I just put down a cement floor under here. Haven't sanded or painted it yet. I just did that this week. This building actually used to sit over onto this track, so it's been here. So it used to sit like this, but now it sits like this. So I put this in here as like a tail track, so it's easier to access, the car repair shop, and then a couple of the storage sidings, which I think is going to also be the fuel pad. I have those down here for right now, but the fuel pad used to sit right here, and I think that's where we're going to put it back. So I can kind of just show you right now, or a fuel pad, whatever you want to call it. But so we moved this over one stall. We have a nice tail track or storage track, and then we added 2 more tail or storage tracks, and I might even put another 2-bay diesel shop, back here. I'm not sure yet. I've been looking at a few kits. The Walthers, they make a 2-bay, so I'm thinking about adding one back here. And you can see the 3rd track in here just stops. There's a bay door right there, so 2 come through, 1 stops in there, and then this tail track comes all the way back. But I really added a lot more switching opportunities and trackage to the locomotive car repair area, so I can kind of put cabooses, all kinds of other stuff, plenty of locomotives, and it's very fluid, so you can only access it via coming into the yard and then backing or pulling in, depending if you're coming from that way. And then there's the tail track. It used to just pull right into bay 1, I guess, but adding the tail track now makes it a lot more functional coming from the car repair shop or the actual, I just call this the maintenance lead because it comes off the yard ladder over here. It leads directly to all the maintenance stuff, but obviously wanted it to connect back to the yard over here because there's never going to be long trains, maybe a car or 2 or just single locomotives or a locomotive in tow. So you could see where that all came into play. So very happy with that. Same thing over here with car repair. Lot is ballasted and stuff back here. I still have more ballast to do. Obviously the backdrop, you've seen it on the other layout because I had the same table dimensions here. We'll go all the way along the back. So the main line will be hidden. It'll come up to about here. So yeah, but the yard itself is very well ballasted. I just need some cleanup work, and then to ballast the stuff that I've added. Get it from this angle too. Pretty big yard. I did add a tail track up here as well. Every other track is run through, but this last one right here is stub end. Just so as I'm pulling out of here or working on trains, I have somewhere to park something just specifically to keep the ladder clear, so I don't always have to run through a locomotive. So this is always going to stay open as a tail track. This is a tail track as well. And as long as I keep past the building clear, I can still store stuff, you know, from like here back and have plenty of room to pull whatever I need back into the yard or back up to the maintenance lead. So haven't done much work in here yet, ballast wise or anything wise, because I want to make it super industrial, like metal shards and some crossings and stuff, and all kinds of industrial gobbledygook, not just ballast everywhere. So super excited with that, you know. And then the car shop, like I said, might add a few more this's and that's in there. I haven't really decided, but it's really starting to fill out. I also, coming down this way, again, you could see, you know, pretty big yard. It's not full right now. I also added another lead with 2 long stub end tracks that I'm just calling storage tracks, or to build a outbound or park an inbound train before they start pulling it apart or adding onto it. Both of them are super long. I have a maintenance of way train and just some gondolas on the other track right now, but classification helpful or just long-term storage. So they could really be used for anything. Someone can come in here and back in a train onto both sidings and they could start breaking it up and building it, or park things on there as they're building the train. Same as if they could on here. You know, I have my main line, then arrival, departure, if you want to call it all that, and the rest of the yard. I'm not super big into like the most realistic rivet counter operations, but most yards of size would have things of that nature. So as well as being able to up the amount of rolling stock I can have on my layout, you know, they're both very long and hold a significant amount of extra cars and are of use. Like I said, inbound, outbound, storage. Like I said, my complete maintenance of way train is parked on there with room to grow. And then thinking about making all of these into like scrap loads and stuff, so able to keep more rolling stock on the layout. Same thing down in this area. I know a lot of yards have industries based out of or right at the yard or close enough proximity, like call it in the yard limits. So I have these elevators, cement, gravel, could be whatever you want to call them. I haven't decided what the product is yet, but I added a lead, and I think it's going to be cement, let's say. So this guy's where it's going to be, and then somehow I have to work the scene together and get some more buildings and stuff. But we've got a nice 4 stub end track specifically for covered hoppers. We've got the bumpers and ballast and all done, and it's going to be based right out of the yard. So it's basically a yard job, which is what I wanted. So really nice switching opportunity, especially now that I added those 2 tail tracks I was just showing you. I'm able to actually have a yard job, which the industrial park's got its own leads. The mine and lumber mill have their own yards per se, and there's nothing west of the lumber mill besides the interchange, and that's as far east as I can go. So I'm actually able to do some, besides just regular yard work, I'm actually able to do a yard job per se, you know, inbound covered hoppers, can switch out what's there, take them back east, bring them in west, all that good stuff. Like I said, I'm not huge on rivet counter style operations, but I wanted to have some other interest in my yard besides just breaking apart and pulling in trains, something to actually operate. And I know there's not much to the scene right now, but it's come a long way and I'm very happy with it, and I'm excited to kind of really get started filling it all together. So I did want to showcase these fences. My friend at Whistle Stop Models sent me some fences to try, 3D printed. WhistleStopModels.com. I'll put the link in the video right here. WhistleStopModels.com sent me a bunch, like 7 or 8 different kinds of 3D printed fences. We've got chain link and gates and wrought iron and all of that. 8-foot chain link or 10-foot, whatever that is. He's got hundreds of different 3D printed stuff on his website, from cars to silos to fences to boats, fishermen, all kinds of stuff that you could use for your layout. It's super high quality, really reasonably priced, and I absolutely love it. You saw some of the fence that I've used down here, and I rusted it up and weathered it and kind of beat it up really well, and I love the way it looks. You know, you got like a say a 6 or 8 foot fence over here, 4-foot fence, and then like a 8 or 10 foot fence over here. And I absolutely love it. Really easy to work with, very, very high quality. So my friend John at Whistle Stop Models, thank you for sending these to me. He's got stuff in tons of scales, T, Z, N, HO. They've had over 1,000 orders in their first year and change of business, and nothing but great feedback. He's actually, I watch railroad videos daily, and a lot of other channels he sent stuff to, and they've all said the same things, that they're super happy with the detail and the quality. He sent me a box of free stuff and said, please, if you hate it, then don't use it or don't say nothing. But if you like it, you know, please tell me more. But if you like it, please show it off on the channel, and that is good enough for him. So whistlestopmodels.com. I am not being paid for this. He sent them to me to try. I gave them a try, and I absolutely love them. John's a really cool guy. He's even asking, are there things that I would personally like to see in his store? So he's really trying to become a staple in the community. And I think with 1,000 orders in his first year in business, bodes really well for the future. I'm super happy with everything. So thank you to John. Whistlestopmodels.com. So that kind of wraps that all up. The whole yard scene and the yard job. It's not really all tied together yet. Like I said, I got a lot of the ballast done. A lot of stuff's kind of in place, but still kind of a big area to do. Like, I can't really just start it and get it all finished in one seamless flow because there's so many different little nooks and crannies to fill in. So very happy with how it's coming out though. And then I've got this whole area over here. I'm not really sure what to do with it. The backdrop obviously will come up, and then it starts over here. So, you know, even if I fill out this whole scene from here over, I'm gonna have this area. I might just do some of this and have it gradually start the foam and do all that, like tie into the mountains. But as you can see over here, we've got this. I'd say this is almost complete. I can add a lot more detail, and I need a ton more trees as well. Every tree that I have is on the layout right now. You'll see as we work around, I spread them all out so I can start to fill in everything at one time instead of just doing one whole scene and having no trees elsewhere, because a lot of this has all been detailed and scenic. But I call this Tunnel 1. I'm gonna call it like the whatever tunnel, the Archer Tunnel or Albert's Tunnel. But yeah, nice and scenic. Got everything running smoothly through there. Lots of detail and stuff up in here. I wouldn't say it's 100% done, but aside from more trees, and then maybe I'll put like some deer or something up in there. Got lots of rocks and stuff. Now it's down to like the rivet counter style details and scenery, which I do enjoy doing. But at a base level and then advanced level, it's pretty close to done coming out of both sides. Very happy with it, how it came out. Like I said, I have 10 different brands and kinds of trees, so I would like to make it even more lush. I just wanted to get a nice spread everywhere so it's even across what's done on the layout. And you know, you can see it's a lot more filled in, but still needs to be filled in even more. So yeah, very happy with how that's all turned out. So for the first time on like my last 3 layouts, I actually started working on and detailing my mine scene. It's kind of been like the white elephant of all of my layouts. I put in trackage and get it all worked in, but then I never do anything with it or scenic it. So I actually have gotten pretty far along with it. So we've got 2 inbound or outbound tracks, and then 3 actual tracks served by the tipple. And I think it's really cool because the train that's dropping off or taking cars takes them from outside the main line. The main runs right through, and then the mine tracks, the tipple tracks, are actually on the inside of the main. So super unique and cool operation. Got the track all ballasted and, you know, pretty scenic up. We've got our stop. So you can see I started working the buildings and whatnot in. So I'm thinking about having this be a road as well, and having trucks be able to pull through here to take loads as well. I know that happens at some places. They do truck coal occasionally, more for like local stuff. But yeah, I've got, you know, 30 some odd coal hoppers in here of different makes and models and road names, all kind of Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, East Coast. But yeah, super happy with how it's coming out, and knowing that the mine is actually, you know, being worked on this layout in conjunction with everything else. Super happy with that, and I'm really liking the way the scene is looking. And yeah, gonna have, you know, that's another thing I wanted on this layout was unit trains. So I've always had them, but never like the capability to kind of operate them. So I've got a nice coal car unit train, nice covered hopper unit train, box cars and gondolas and that kind of stuff's always dime a dozen. But I've been working on building my maintenance away train, nice lumber train, and then we've got the oil tanker train, which is eventually going to hopefully service the refinery or oil distribution, whatever you want to call it, over there. So definitely nice to be able to run and store and operate unit trains. So super happy with that. You know, this is the new River Mine kit like everybody has. I've had 3 different ones. This one I got nice and weathered and detailed, working on putting all the elevators and into there and whatnot. You can see I've done green scenery from the top half all the way to the back side of the layout. At the interchange, I'll show you. The rock is nice and detailed. I kind of want to put a few more like elevator things in there, like other mining machinery. So just like with the industrial park and the yard building and the gravel or cement plant, I'm still looking for more little buildings and detailed things. And like obviously this is a pretty common kit too, the Medusa cement. A lot of these are common. You've seen all these before, but now I'm starting to really hunt and look for specialized stuff to start filling out the scenes before I move on to like final progress or the rivet counter detail. But super stoked with how this is coming out. So there actually is progress on the mine. I think in like every other video where I show the mine, I say, yeah, we'll get to that at some point, but it's coming quite along. So moving right on over, we've got, like I said, a lot of scenery, not done, but, you know, trees, and then I can start filling in the rest of it. And then we got the little canyon coming over into the lumber mill, which, you know, again, it's not 100% done, but it's, you know, pretty close to, now it's like rivet counter style. Same thing inside the warehouse. I want to put all kinds of wood pallets and things. When you look inside there, you see them. Gonna do the same thing with the diesel and car shops eventually too, once I, you know, get further along. But you've got the road leading in, cross bucks and all that. You've seen this before, almost in the same state, because I worked on the lumber mill and all that scene early on and kind of got that together. So this has been the furthest along and for the longest since I started the layout. So very happy with all the progress. You know, got a little excavator that is dilapidated. We've got the 2 yard tracks and then the run through track and then the wood rack tracks all along the hillside and cliffs and stuff, which, you know, I'll fill in, but sawdust in the saw table. And I still got a lot of work to do at it, but I'm going to definitely say this is the scene that's furthest along and one of my pride and joys of all my model railroading adventures. And you got the loading dock on the warehouse too with that stub end track, but plenty of, you know, you got the track that comes all the way through with the rack tracks and then the 2 yard tracks for it, the stub end track. And the cool part is that it's all kind of contained like on this side of the valley and then goes through the canyons over here. So it's all, you know, and then where it goes back out on the main, it's all very like every scene is self-contained, so to speak, except the yard with the gravel and all that, which is very common. And then a lot of times industrial parks and leads and all of that are in close proximity to a rail yard. So obviously the main line comes out and then leads into this. And like I said, this is the end of trackage down here, the east end, you know, it's cut, severed, but all leads back into the yard. So a nice starting point that all bleeds into the industry, goes into the yard, into the gravel, and then straight wilderness several miles through wherever, through the tunnel, into the mountains, to the mine, a couple miles through blah, blah, blah to here. And then, you know, you can kind of see It's all very self-contained, like I said. And then the main continues to go through, and here's where the interchange or passing siding comes through. You know, so the tanker unit train is actually on the main line itself. The inside track is the passing siding or interchange track with, let's just say, Norfolk. I haven't really decided, I guess, but and then I call this, I have names I want to use, I just haven't decided yet, but Archer is a name, Albert is a name, Dieter is a name, but I've been calling this Archer Pass. So in theory, if, you know, the layout obviously ends at the fascia, but in theory, the mountain would come back up this way. So it'd be like Archer Pass or Archer Cut. But you could see, you know, I've got the cliffs and trees and all of that, and the main line and interchange passing siding running right along it. And this goes into whatever tunnel. So Norfolk trackage starts right here and goes off back to wherever they're going, to Pittsburgh or something. And then the Allegheny and whatever starts right here. So the main line is the outside track, and then this is the interchange track here, the very long passing siding. So it's all really coming together. Like I said, still need a ton more trees, but you could see, and even on this side at the height of the table, obviously you could see what's back there, but you can't really see the other side very close, and you can't really tell what's going on over there. It's all very self-contained, and it took a lot of layout building, other layouts and planning and ideas. So I did really take my time, because this is exactly how I wanted the layout to feel, and it's, you know, proven itself to be exactly that. So, but yeah, so interchange trackage goes that way, bye west, and then you start over here, the cut, the pass, the lumber yard, the mine, back into the mountains, then back out of the mountains, and you got the whole yard, industrial area, diesel shop, car repair shops, run a little bit, industrial town of whatever, Alberton, and then severed trackage. So let's just say from the start of the Allegheny trackage all the way to where the line is cut, you know, call it 100 miles, let's say, the operative trackage. Service, you know, big industry, have the yard and all the repair shop and car storage and whatnot. And then, you know, 10 customers, let's just say, in the industrial park, and that's about it. But very stoked on how it's all come out. And yeah, you've got start of trackage, long passing siding along the main, and then the interchange track ties in, passing siding, interchange track ties in with the main up here. So for unit trains, like right now I've got an entire, I think I have 33 of these Allegheny Refinery Bachmann Silver Series. I think I have 33 of them. I can put, I think, almost 40 cars, probably even more than that, because there's 33. I've got room for 6 or 7 more. So call it like a 40 car unit train. I know my coal train and covered hopper train both fit on the main or the interchange track, because you could use either or, I guess, depending what is open. But I can fit a 40 car-ish unit train on there, including what you're seeing right now. Also for storage or to simulate or play interchange. So it's definitely ridiculous how planning and building and tearing down 4, 5, 6 layouts now has actually led me to be fully functional and self-aware of what I wanted to accomplish, and it's coming together. So a couple other things. I didn't show these off in the beginning of the video, but I finally got display cases. So these were both from Amazon. Some guy custom builds them. They're chestnut or mahogany, I forget, cherry, but real wood, all handmade. So I've got my Pennsylvania, sorry about the glare because the window's right there, but Pennsylvania passenger and whatnot collection in there, and the mail cars and all that. I know it's hard to see, and they have the nice brass clasps that lock so they don't open, but yeah, hang on, let me, so super nice. So that's all passenger. And then over here I have locomotives. So and I've still got plenty more locomotives to buy to fill these out, plus whatever's on the layout, which I've got 7 or 8 locomotives on the layout and another 12 or 15 in here. And then just some cool special run cars that I collect. And I like to run them too, but same with the passenger. instead of having a passenger train always stuck on the layout, taking up room. And same with having all the locomotives on the layout right now while I'm working on it. I probably have more out here than I should right now, you know, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 locomotives on the layout right now, 9. You know, once the layout is further along, I'll obviously have more, especially in the diesel shops, and there'll be more room for car repair, that kind of stuff. But yeah, not having a passenger taking up a long siding or a long yard track makes operations more fun, and passenger trains on this line would not really exist. Maybe there's an excursion train every so often, so if I want to be a rivet counter, we can go that way. But also very nice to see all of these cars that wouldn't normally be on the layout. They'd be in boxes in my dresser that I have to store all my trains. So it's really a nice focal point, and I get to see a lot of my collection. So that's another good point to make. Every single piece of rolling stock I have, except 10 cars that need new trucks and couplers, they have the old horn couplers. And I ordered some more KD and Microtrains couplers. Every single car that I have is on the layout right now, every locomotive and car, and or in these display cases. So literally everything you've seen on the layout right now, I do have a few on the shelf up there that are waiting for repair. Like I said, I have about 10 cars needing new couplers and trucks. Everything that I have is on the layout right now, and I still have more trackage to add in certain spots, and plenty of open trackage right now. So in the past 2 months, I sold probably, I don't want to say 33%, not a third, but definitely 25, probably 25 to 30% of my rolling stock. Stuff and road names that I wasn't really a big fan of. I wanted to kind of scale it down to Pennsylvania, CSX kind of, you know, Ohio, River, and Northeastern kind of road names. A few exceptions, but Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, anything, you know, Eastern Seaboard, I guess, but north of, you know, like Roanoke, I guess, or Wheeling. I have probably right now, if I looked at my spreadsheet, 250 cars or so and about 25 to 30 locomotives. So call it between 260 and 300 pieces of rolling stock and locomotives combined. And I sold probably about 100 pieces, give or take. So yeah, definitely a solid quarter to third of my collection. Got a lot of money back in return that I immediately flipped back into other kits. Needed some more scenery material, that kind of stuff. Pico switches are obviously 20 to 30 bucks a piece. So stuff that I didn't really run very often. I had a ton more passenger cars that I was never going to run. So I had a ton of, like I said, other different road names like Union Pacific and Santa Fe. And it's like, I'd rather just keep it to my era and to my area, I guess. So got a lot of money back, which is nice because this stuff holds its value pretty well. And also was able to turn it into, like, these cases were about $130 a piece. So, you know, that's with shipping $300 right there. And yeah, I sold some rolling stock to fund them. So I've done that in the past as well. You know, over the years, you accumulate so much stuff. And, you know, I've probably had 2,000 different cars and locomotives and sold half of them at this point, I guess, more than that. But I'm very happy with less is more because the money went into things that are for the layout and helping the layout. And at the same time, I had everything I owned on the layout and had virtually no room for anything. Every siding that I have right now, every yard track, every single inch of trackage that was not the completely open main line was crammed. And that was forcing me to, every day I took off a few cars, decided that I didn't want, started making lots to sell. And yeah, I probably shipped out 30 to 40 boxes of 100 to 150 rail cars. And I don't miss them because they were the ones I never ran. And like I said, the road names and numbers didn't really align with, you know, this central Pennsylvania style railroad. So I know I'm ranting and raving. I know this is going to be a really long video, but I haven't done a video in 3 months. I guess I'm not going to say anymore, count on me to upload a video every so often because in the last 3 months I got married, dog passed away, Archer. Been working a ton on the layout, so I'm just going to keep updating when I can, and we'll go from there. So it is a few days before Christmas. Layout season is in full swing, so we'll be back and working on it. That's what I'm doing this morning, why I decided to pick up the camera. We'll be back and working on it as time goes on here, and I'll keep you updated as much as I possibly can. No promises anymore because I never keep them. So I guess that's about it for now. Tips or tricks, Tony Hawk style, please leave them in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, share, all that. Thank you all for joining me in the Facebook groups and everything. If you have any questions or want any pointers or want to criticize me, I'm very open to all of that. I welcome it. Thank you all so much. I hope you enjoy the layout. I think this is one of the nicest, or shaping up to be one of the nicest and best end scale layouts on YouTube, just in my opinion. So I hope you guys feel the same. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate you. I guess I'll check back in with you as soon as I am able to, or something is worthy to show. There's a lot of stuff cool going on, so I will definitely keep that in mind as far as doing as many videos as possible, even though I say that and never do. So, all right, well, I guess I'll sign off here. Much love to all of you. See you on the next one, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Train Main out.